Welcome to day 3 in this beginner's fertility yoga series. So many of the women that I work with in this space, so one-on-one and yoga therapy sessions and counseling sessions, tell me that they feel like their body is broken, that losing babies, that going through infertility makes them feel like their body can't do the one thing it was designed to do. And it's my hope that through this practice today and through seeing how strong your body is physically, that you're able to see how strong you are in all other areas of your life, because you are strong enough for all of this. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You are so strong. You are strong enough. All right, let's start today just by bringing the hands onto the belly, closing down the eyes. It's taking a moment to arrive here in our bodies in this practice. Be conscious and aware of your feet pressing into the mat, all 4 corners pressing down. Feel all the muscles of the body drawing up, legs, core, shoulders, crown of the head. Feel this big long line drawing from the ground all the way up. Good. So with the feet underneath the hips, we're going to take a seat down. So this is our chair pose. You can practice this pose with the hands on the thighs. You can take the arms above the head, which obviously makes it a little more challenging. You can put the hands on the hips if that feels better for you. And you're going to breathe because this can get quite intense. And it's okay for it to be intense because you've got the breath, you can breathe through it, you've got movement, you could maybe rock back and forth. As you inhale, take the arms to the sky, stretch up long, release through the legs, maybe take a few circles. Good, and then exhale, take a seat back down, chair pose. Breathe. Inhale, come tall, stretch it up, take a few circles. And then take a seat down. Keep with the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Good, and this time we release the hands down. We're going to forward fold all the way down. So keep a bend through the knees if that feels good in your low back. Release it out through the head and neck. So just swaying it out here, releasing any tension. Good, and then slowly bring yourself back up to rise. Take both legs wide. Turn the toes out and take a seat down. This is your goddess. Find that breath. If you want to add on, make it a little more challenging. The arms can come up. Be warned though, this is intense through the legs, but you are strong and you can do this. So if it's too intense, come a little higher in the legs. If you've got the strength, you want to challenge today, come even lower. So maybe at first you do this practice and you don't believe and you feel like, whew, I was so weak, I'm not strong at all. What I want you to do is see this as a practice, especially if you're a beginner. If this is your first time doing yoga, you have to build up these skills. All right, I need a little break. Straighten up the legs. Open through the heart. And then exhale, take a seat down. So I want you to not expect yourself to have this straight away and to build up that strength and to prove to yourself daily, if you have to, that little by little you can improve and feel stronger. Feel stronger physically, but also mentally and emotionally for this journey as well. All right, straighten the legs up. This time, all 10 toes are pointing in the one direction as we forward fold down. Again, releasing through head and neck. You might bend out one leg, straighten the other. Good. Come all the way over to one side. We take a seat down into our skandasana or our side lunge. So you should feel a really beautiful stretch through this leg. And then walk the hands all the way over to the opposite side. Sit down into this leg. Good, come back to center. Find that wide leg forward fold once more. Sway it out through the head and neck. And then use the hands to support you to come all the way down. All right, so from this position, we're going to work a little bit through the back line of the body. So I want you to bring the hands behind you. Fingertips are pointing towards the toes. Feet are at about hip distance. So as you inhale, I want you to press into the feet, lift the hips up. Take a breath here. And then slowly release down. So it's up to you whether your bottom hits the ground and takes that little rest, or whether you hover it off the ground to work a little more strength. So inhale, lift up. And then come down, and you might hover here, so it's working quite strongly through the arms, and then inhale it back up. Good, you're doing really well. Lift it up again. And again. Good, slowly release the hips down. Bring the soles of the feet together. So I wonder where in the world you're joining me from, because here in Australia in January, it is really hot. So doing this right now, I am actually dripping with sweat. I'm not sure if you can see it from where you are. So I would love to know, where are you in the world? Is it hot? Is it freezing? What sort of temperatures did you have today? It's probably a little bit more enjoyable doing this class, to be honest, if it's a little bit cooler, because this class itself does build quite a little bit of heat. All right, with our soles of the feet together, knees pressing down. If your knees are quite high, you might just use the elbows to gently press them down. If they're already quite low, just lean forward. Good, coming back up. We're going to turn all the way over now, coming into our plank pose. So you have some options. You can work here in full plank, or you can bring the knees down and work off the knees. Completely up to you, and will depend on how fit you are and how comfortable you are in this pose. Take a breath. We're going to roll into our side plank. So you can do this off the knee or off the foot. Press the floor away. So the idea is I want you to feel strong, not defeated. So maybe you just hold this for one breath and then you rest down. And then you come back to this practice tomorrow. Let's go to the opposite side and build up a little more strength. Or maybe in a couple of days' time. Maybe you do this class and then practice regularly, and then notice after a few weeks that you can hold this pose for a few breaths. One more breath here. Good, knees down. Take a seat back to child's pose. So sit on the ankles, knees wide enough for the belly to fit between, and just rock the forehead side to side. All right, coming up, we've got one more pose that's asking us to work, and then we'll come into rest. So if you're feeling quite bloated at the moment, especially around your period, this might not feel so great. So you're welcome to go straight into relaxation if you're feeling quite bloated and don't want to do just a little bit of core activation that we're doing right now. So hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, lift the knees off, and they just hover. Looks quite simple. Someone will probably walk past you and be like, that's not work. But I can guarantee you, you will be building a little bit of fire in your body. I want you to remind yourself, I am strong. I am strong. And I want you to take this practice. Let's bring the knees down, have a little break. Rock from side to side. I want you to take this practice off the mat today as well. So whenever you come into challenges this year, whenever you're faced with things that test you, you're going to come back to this affirmation, I am strong. Use the breath, breathe in, breathe out, I am strong. Good. Little rock from side to side. We've got one more round. You're doing really well. Last one, let's go. Knees hover, press into the hands, draw the elbows in. Core is engaged. Good, bring the knees down. I'm gonna take the knees wide, sit back towards the heels, but we're gonna bring the hands in between, come into a child's pose variation here. One of my favorites. So you can either hold onto the heels or you can clasp the hands and just soften down here. Let the weight of your legs feel comforting on your arms. And let your forehead rest. Your head gets heavy. Your hips sink. Let everything go. Sometimes the stillness can be the hardest part of our practice. This might be when our mind runs away, and the negativity comes out. If that's true for you, maybe you need to remind yourself in the stillness, I am strong. I am healthy. I am ready. I am hopeful. Keep reminding yourself of your strength. Keep breathing in and out, in and out. And then when you're ready, slowly, if you can get out of this position because it's so comfortable. After filming a few hours of yoga, sometimes I end up not wanting to move out of poses, and this is certainly one of them. Slowly bring yourself back out. I always love those yoga classes that combine that strength with that softness. I always find I get a lot more out of them when I've really worked my body and kind of burnt off a little bit of the anxiety and that nervous energy, and it lets me sink even deeper into that relaxation. So maybe you find that for yourself as well, and it can be really helpful to add yoga towards the end of some sort of other workout. So if you really enjoy lifting weights, you could add 10 minutes of yoga to the end of that, because the effort that you use during the weightlifting will really allow you to sink in and find that relaxation in your yoga practice. You could also do some more challenging yoga practices beforehand. You could go for a walk or a run, or however other way you enjoy moving your body. It can be a really nice way to have that strong practice first and then that more gentle approach at the end. I hope that you enjoyed today's class. Please remember, you are strong enough for this. And I would love if you would subscribe so that you can join me for all the other classes in this series. Namaste.